In my Father's house are many mansions. You better be glad Jesus was the son of a carpenter. Because he's been up there for 2,000 years building houses for you. Big houses that you get to move into and not pay rent. And you'll have to pay electricity because he's the light. Because we think that heaven is like our town and like we live in. We don't understand that these are significations, signifying, trying to give you something to relate to. In my Father's house are many mansions. Those are not just big houses. They're places of abode. They're spaces. In my Father's house are many places, many spaces. And he says, I'm going to go fix one of them for you. And what nobody ever told us was, Lord, obviously I want to talk about that for a while. Because we didn't understand why we need a place. Why do I need a place in the, what world is that? Well, that's in heaven. Our Father which art in heaven. In my Father's house. Well, where's my Father's house? Heaven. Well, where is heaven? Is it a destination or is it a dimension? We're supposed to be sitting together right now in heavenly places. Yes. And I saw a door open in heaven. Remember that one? Chapter 4 of Revelation? I saw a door open in heaven. And I heard a voice saying, come up hither, and I will show you things that shall come to pass. Carol. Yeah. Things that shall come to pass. And immediately I was in the Spirit. Right. So if you get a door into heaven, all you're doing is getting a portal between this world we live in and the spirit world that the Father is in. Our Father which art in heaven. We thought it was way off somewhere, and the truth is, it's a parallel dimension. Right here. Right here with us. Right now. My kingdom come over here, just like it is over there. And the reason why you need a place, and the reason he went to prepare it, he went where? To the grave.
Yes.
Death, burial, resurrection. That where I am, not where I'm going to be, where I am.
You shall be.
Yeah, see, I don't have time to talk about where he was, because he was standing right there with him. Wasn't he standing right there with him? And he says that where I am, there you may. Well, they could have said, well, we already where you are, because you're standing here talking to us. He wasn't talking about where I am physically. He's talking about where I am spiritually, so that you will understand. Yes. I'm wearing y'all out already. Are y'all okay? If any man will see me, Jesus said one time, remember when the Greeks wanted to see Jesus, we would see Jesus? You remember that? They had come to the feast at Jerusalem, and before they left, they said, they came to Andrew, remember? And they said, sirs, we would see Jesus. We'd like to just see him before we leave and have to go back home. You think you'd have a few minutes to spare? Well, I'm kind of filling in here a little bit. Before we get away. So Philip and Andrew came to Jesus and said, there are a couple of Greeks out here who'd like to see you. He flies off the wall. He didn't say, well, I'll give him 10 minutes, just let me get through this other counseling session, and then I'll be glad to see him. He didn't say anything like that. He says, sirs, we would see. Let's all say we would see. Watch this. Now, this is what he says. Now is the hour that the Son of Man should be glorified. Flew off the wall. What's that got to do with a couple of Greeks? Now is the hour that the Son of Man should be glorified. Except the corn of wheat fall into the ground and die, it abideth alone. But if it fall into the ground and die, it bringeth forth much fruit. If any man will see me, let him come where I am. Where was he? A corn of wheat falling to the ground and dying. Death, burial, resurrection. So when he said, I'm going away, he wasn't talking about going off to some far place. He was talking about death, burial, resurrection. So that where he is, we could be. He became the first fruits of us.
Yes. So good.
So we think that He's going to win for 2,000. You've been building houses. We're going to go do something. And all he was saying is, I'm going to die, be buried, and rise again so that the place I am spiritually, you can be there too. Not some glad day after a while, right now.
Right.
In your right now. You can come where I am. Where is that? Into the spirit world. You can actually find a portal and step into the place. Where was he? Are y'all okay?
Yeah.
Let me piece some more of this together, okay? Remember when Jesus was praying, Pastor was praying that intercessory prayer in the garden, that they may be one, even as we are one. How many of you remember that prayer? John 17. Father, that they may be one. All that thou hast given me will come. Remember that passage? He's praying. He's kneeling there. He's pressed his knuckled knees into the gritty gravel of the garden. He's physically, literally kneeling down. Physically, let's all say physically. Say literally. He's kneeling in this garden. Let's say a real garden. And he's praying. He's praying. Yeah. And while he's praying there, Father, I have kept all that you've given me through your name. And then all of a sudden he said, Father, I am no longer in the world. You read that prayer lately?
Yeah.
I'm not here. No, he's kneeling right here. He said, Father, I am no longer in the world. What does that mean? He transcended time. See, God does not live in time. We live in time. God lives in eternity. There is no time with God. Yesterday and tomorrow are all now with God. That's why he's the same yesterday and forever, because it doesn't mean he was there, he is here, and he will be there. No, he is here and there all at the same time. It just means there's no difference. You understand?
Amen.
So Jesus, while he's kneeling in this world, manifest in the flesh in this world, says, Father, I'm no longer in the world. He steps over out of time. He transcends. Not conform, but transform. When he steps over into eternity, he sweeps into eternity past Timothy. You know what he says? Father, glorify me with the glory that I had with thee before the world was. Then he sweeps into eternity this way and says, Father, I have finished the work that thou gavest me to do. And he hadn't even been to the cross yet. Because when you step out of time and into eternity, you step into the finished work of Christ. Everything is finished from the foundation of the world.
Amen.
Yes.
Yeah, think about this. So while we're over here struggling, waiting for God to do something, just over here in this other side, over in the spirit, it's already finished.
Good. Great.
Yes.
Let me do that again. So while you're over here in your wilderness struggling, pray, please God. Oh God, move. Oh Jesus, oh God, move. Have your way, oh God, oh God, oh God. Oh Jesus, Jesus, Jesus. Jesus, move. See, it's always more spiritual when you kind of, and then you got to suck it back in. Doesn't that sound spiritual? When I was a little boy.
So I got the house. I have the house.
Yeah.
I have the job.
Yeah.
House paid for.
Yeah.
Already.
Yeah.
Okay.
There you go.
Already done.
That's it.
You know where it is? It's in your space.
Yeah, okay.
In your place. You know where your place is?
In him.
In Father's house.
Amen.
I go to prepare a place for you. That's the mansion.
Amen.
That's the abode. What's in there? All that he has ever done for you, is doing for you, and ever will do for you is all in your space.
Yes.
In heaven.
Right
It's
now.
called,
Wow.
Right now.
Yes.
you follow what I'm saying?
Yes.
Do you understand everything you'll ever need? He's already done it. You know where it is? It's not off somewhere over in the blue sky somewhere. It's just over here across this little thin line in a parallel dimension in the spirit. Because that's where the Father's house is. And in His house, He prepared a place. If you've got to see it like something, then just look at it like a huge bank vault in the biggest bank in St. Louis with your name carved in marble on the top. And a great big old wheel on the front with a safe that He gave you the combination to, and says inside of there, everything you ever needed, everything you need now, and everything you will ever need is already finished. It's finished over there, it's just not finished over here. For example, over there, He was slain from the foundation of the world. But over here on this side, He was not slain until Mount Calvary. It was in the fullness of time, God said, not in the fullness of eternity. It was already done over there. It just didn't manifest over here until it became time. That's why God will never work for you again.
That's right.
Never. Don't ask Him to work for you. Because to do that is to misunderstand what He has already done. And that's why our whole kingdom prayer is all twisted. Because we are always trying to talk God into doing our stuff. We look around in our material world with our human mind, the knowledge of good and of evil. We determine what God should do and what He should not do. We decide who He should bless, who He shouldn't bless, how He should work and how He shouldn't work. And then we go and we say we're going to pray and we're going to beseech God to do. The truth is, everything He will ever do is already done. And so if I understood prayer correctly, it would not be trying to wrestle with God's reluctance. It would not be trying to talk God into something I think He should do that He doesn't want to do. I mean, I'm sick and I need help, but God is just sitting up there with His arms folded and not doing anything. And so if I can just really get a hold of God, I can get somebody to help me, might talk God into doing it. No. If I understand that my biggest problem is simply getting from here to here, to find a portal in heaven, to find a door between these two worlds, where I can have what's happened over here, already finished, manifest over here. But the reason why it won't manifest over here is because that only manifests here in glory. If I don't prepare the way of the Lord, then all of these things over here, heaven can be pregnant with purpose, and I can be barren with nothing because I have not prepared the way of the Lord. And the very thing that God has been putting me through to cause me to be able to conceive in my world the pregnant purpose of God and my destiny is because every time God gets ready to do something in my world, I abort that because I blame it on the devil. All this stuff I'm going through, well, I'll tell you, I've just been rebuking the devil because the devil's been my husband, my wife, my children, my grandchildren, my siblings. Oh God, I'll tell you what they did at the bank, what they've done to my house. And we take all of this world situation, especially with our economic situation, storms. You hear preachers get up and say, it's the judgment of God against all of the sin in Atlantic City, all the gambling in the casino. That's why Irene came roaring up the coast. And they're disappointed that it didn't blow all the casinos down, because they'll be back in operation tomorrow. This is a misunderstanding. When you see winds and waves rolling, men's hearts failing them for fear, earthquakes and divers, but you say, well, it's happening more and more. We must be down at the end of time. We've been at the end of time since the cross. I don't know what your feelings, but we've been in the last days since the cross. In the last last days I will pour out my spirit upon all flesh.
Yes,
Simon
sir.
Peter got up 50 days after the death, burial, resurrection, said, this is that. What? The last days? The last 3 days. We'll talk about it more tonight. Okay, all this going on. I'm telling you, Jesus is coming soon because all this stuff is happening. I don't want to hurt your feelings, but he really wants to come and manifest himself.
Right.
You've been wanting to come and just get the heck out of Dodge. And he wants to come